Cause you know she had our better one.
Dragon Tales. Well, time for Dragon. We are going to be checking out the Odd1sOut, growing up without cable. Man, how I know this struggle, and many of my subscribers know this oh my gosh. Man, I know this struggle, and many of my subscribers know this struggle as well. Growing up without cable, it was a very, very tough childhood. I didn't get cable until I was around, I would say, 13 or 14 years old, and by then, like, you know, all the good stuff was already out. But still, I had Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network. It wasn't like I was without it my whole life. But before cable, I remember I was watching like the weirdest things, like Judge Judy, Maury, and like it's just, what were you watching? I do remember that you did have Fox and ABC and all the basic ones, so you can still watch your dramas. You know, you can watch Simpsons at night, even though I wasn't allowed to watch it. You can still catch it. It just wasn't the same like cable. So we're gonna check out the Odd1sOut, how he grew up without cable, and I'm guessing he's gonna be offering like some solutions or what he did, or like along the lines of how you should go about doing it. But don't forget to hit me to like, subscribe, and go ahead and comment your favorite non-cable show. My favorite non-cable show, oh wow, I would have to say, honestly, I would have to say it was like Family Guy or Simpsons. Like Fox cartoons were the ones pushing me through it as a child back then. But enough of me talking, let's go and check out the Odd1sOut growing up without cable. Hope you guys enjoy the video.
Imagine if Netflix, YouTube, and Hulu never existed. What would you be watching right now? Would you be watching this? I don't think so. You'd be watching this box right.
He looks like he's about to.
Hello.
He's naked under that
on
trench
this
coat.
Device, instead of picking what you wanted to watch and when you wanted to watch it, the television would decide all that for you. And instead of watching a single 5-second skippable ad in the beginning, you'd have to watch 5 30-second long.
Oh my gosh,
ads.
right? Y'all complain about YouTube
anything
ads.
More annoying? An advertisement right in the middle of your show? I don't know if my parents were being cheap or trying to discourage an unhealthy habit of watching too much TV, but growing up, my parents didn't have cable television at all in the house. Now, in this modern day and age of online content, some of you are living perfectly content lives without cable.
Yeah, people nowadays really don't need cable. I don't have cable back at my house back home, and I have cable in my apartment right now, and I never watch TV. Like, everything I want to do, it will be online. Doesn't mean there's no use for it, it's just I don't see the point with TV. Like, you have to sit through all those commercials. You have to wait for it to actually air on TV versus online. You can watch it that second, that time. You can cut off whenever. You don't have to sit through ads. It's just way better. I don't know. I've experienced both. I experienced both TV and the internet, and I'm just going to say internet's better. I'm pretty sure old heads out here say, oh, the stuff online is not even real videos. It's not even real content. It's just meh. I don't even explain that right. No old head says meh.
I know I am. But you have to understand, in the early 2000s, online video wasn't a thing. Yeah, YouTube was created in 2005, but what did that have? This guy at a zoo? That's lame. So being an early 2000s kid, you had to get your cartoons through the TV. And if your parents didn't pay $65 a month to get cable, then you didn't get the channels with SpongeBob, Jimmy Neutron, Cowardly Dog.
The good stuff.
The only thing you got was this green brother and sister called PBS Kids. And
PBS Kids!
PBS Kids stands for Public Broadcasting Service.
I remember this.
Kids. That meant all the shows on PBS Kids were government or privately funded. So the shows on PBS didn't really have any commercials per se, but they did have the same sponsorship ads that would play a message before every show.
Yeah, that's right.
On PBS
that's
Kids,
right.
Then Juicy Juice and Where a Kid Can Be a
Chuck E.
Kid
Cheese, yup.
engraved in your memory.
Yup.
And also, every show would thank you, the viewer, for watching, and I think that's really nice. So, everyone watching this, you're welcome.
Man, this is bringing back memories. PBS Kids, how can I forget about this? Like, can I change my answer? I don't want to say Family Guy or Simpsons no more. I was watching PBS Kids. Cyber Chase, Maya and Miguel. I can't think of the shows right now, but there's tons of them. PBS Kids was the way to go. Like, you'll come back from school and just turn on PBS Kids, and you watch like Woof, Rough Man. Bro, Zoom, so many shows that are just coming back to memory. Wow, PBS Kids was pretty lit.
I'm kinda glad my parents didn't buy cable, because instead of spending hours of my time watching mindless television, I spent hours of my time watching television with morals and math. Yep,
Ah.
on PBS were either educational or taught you how to be a good person.
That's true.
The shows I'm going to mention had pretty crazy concepts, but the conflicts in each episode were very down-to-earth and slice-of-lifey, almost like the shows were made for children. Like in Clifford the Big Red
Clifford!
Dog, about this girl's dog who grew up to be the size of a freaking house for no reason except for the fact that the girl loved the dog so much that he grew up to be a monster. That means if your dog is normal sized, you don't love it enough. And it probably doesn't love you. So yeah, a giant red dog is a pretty weird premise, but the episodes were
What
about
dog is
everyday
red?
things. Like this blue dog feels bad that he tore up his owner's sweater, and his friends tell him to just be honest, and he does, and everyone's happy. Or the episode where this new dog moves into town, but he's missing a leg.
Oh,
and then
that was
Clifford
so
and his friends
sad.
have to learn that having 3 legs still means you can accomplish a lot of things any normal human can do. I mean, dog. And I rate this show a 10 out of 10.
That was a pretty good show.
A
Not
show that made dragons friendly.
Dragon Tales.
The biggest, not so brave of heart. There's Cassie, she's so shy but so very smart. There's Zach and Daisy and their tales of fun. Cause you know two head are better than one.
Dragon Tales, Dragon Tales. Well, time for Dragon Tales.
Pretty similar to Clifford. The characters would spend an episode learning everyday things like how to do a cartwheel, or they would try to make it rain so they could show their friend what a rainbow
This
looks
was a
like.
good
There was also
show.
this grandpa dragon who knew Spanish for some reason.
Don't come too close, niños.
And that wasn't the weirdest thing on the show, actually. There was also a dragon character in a wheelchair, which, just like Clifford, is
You can
a good
fly!
character because it teaches kids that disabled people are still people who can accomplish a lot of things.
But you can
But
fly!
I think it's a weird combination of two things. A dragon.
You can
a
fly!
beast known for destroying cities in a wheelchair. If you wanted to stop a dragon from destroying your city, then you just don't install wheelchair ramps anywhere. I should stop talking. I rate
Yeah,
this
you
show
need to
a
stop
10 out of
talking.
10. Now let's talk about Arthur.
Okay, before we talk about Arthur, man, Dragon Tales and Clifford, I'm remembering all these shows and Arthur, they do have these educational purposes and make you feel better yourself as a person. Versus SpongeBob and Jimmy Neutron and all the other shows, Cower, the Curly Dog. What did I just say? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, those shows are just cartoons. Like, they're just shock value. Versus PBS Kids, they're trying to really teach you something. Like, they're really trying to educate you. Wow! No wonder I'm such a smart kid. I guess I have PBS Kids to thank for all the reasons why I'm so smart. Like, thank you, PBS Kids. Thank you, Clifford.
Here's some fun trivia. Arthur is supposed to be an aardvark.
Yep.
Personally, I don't see it. Basically, it was a show about Arthur and his other furry friends learning lessons, but Arthur tended to tackle more serious subjects than the other two shows.
A
like,
lot.
You have episodes
Yeah,
where
cursing
DW hears her
episodes.
parents get in a fight and she worries about them getting a divorce, or the episode where Arthur Falcon punches his little
Ooh!
sister, and even having to deal with someone you know getting cancer.
What? Cancer?
The character gets treatment and
Oh,
lives,
wow.
by the way, because it's a kid's show.
This show is
10 out of
pretty
10. Next,
deep.
Let's talk about my favorite show on PBS Kids, Cyber Chase.
Okay, Cyber Chase. I have to pause it just one more time for Cyber Chase. I'm probably gonna pause it again, but Cyber Chase, we moving. I don't know if I remember the lyrics, but Cyber Chase was the show to watch, man. Like, it was cool. It was technological. It had math. It had comedy. It had conflict. It had hacking, bro. Cyber Chase was the most lit show. Like, I'm changing my question of the day answer to Cyber Chase, bro. That was the show. Every
The show
time.
didn't teach kids morals or how to properly treat the disabled. It taught them something far more important.
Math.
Math. Cyber Chase is set inside a virtual computer world, and this one character named Motherboard was supposed to be the queen/protector of this world.
This
but
is so
she sucks
cool.
at her job because the villain of the show, Christopher Lloyd, infects her with a virus. So now these 3 kids have to go on adventures using math principles to thwart the bad guy's plans to save Motherboard. Motherboard.
This show was so good. And then you had Digit the bird.
And unlike all the other shows, this show had an overarching story. The kids would always get this close to saving Motherboard, but nothing they did worked. When I was a kid, I always wondered how much longer it would be until they finally saved her.
Did they ever save her?
The show's been going on for 16 years.
It's still going
and
on!
They're still learning new math principles, trying to save Motherboard. I think they're at calculus at this point.
Oh my
The show is
gosh!
slower than an actual school. What kind of a show makes you wait 16 years for a conclusion? Cyber Chase does, and it's one of the best shows ever created. 10 out of 10. One last show I want to bring up is called Caillou.
Okay, bald-headed little Caillou. Cyber Chase has been going on for 16 years. I thought it ended a minute ago. Come on, we need a conclusion. Like, I was stuck on the finale for a long time. Give us an ending. No, but Caillou, okay. Caillou, I heard conspiracies that he has cancer. That's why he's bald and like he acts like that, and his parents let him get away with stuff like that. But is that really true? What 6-year-old? I'm just a kid who's 4 or 5 years old. 4 or 5-year-old is voluntarily bald. Like, I don't know. Caillou, are you Asian? Like, are you from an Asian family? That has to be it, because they be shaving y'all heads bald.
All you need to know about Caillou is that I hate him. Caillou is a 4-year-old and a demon. He constantly throws a tantrum whenever he doesn't get his way. Even in his theme
Yes!
song, he mentions how much of a brat he is. Growing up is not so tough, except when I've had enough.
He's such a brat!
Like a child. Well, you're going to have to grow up, Caillou. The world doesn't revolve around you. Now, you might be thinking, James, this kid is 4 years old. Of course he's going to be a brat. And I agree, but a big problem with Caillou isn't the fact that he's a brat, but it's with his spineless parents. Caillou's mom just lets him get away with
Anything!
Whenever he misbehaved, you know what happens to me? He go sit in the timeout corner. You know what happens to Caillou? Nothing! Not
I had to get
once
beat!
Does Caillou ever get punished? It's always his mom just being like, Caillou, what you said wasn't very nice. Now go behave, okay?
White
We're
parents.
again with the show with just the humans. I hate it. I just realized that all the shows I mentioned were animated, but there was a lot of non-animated shows that I still watched. But whatever, I could just say that
I like
these
Fetch
shows fit the
Rushman.
theme of my channel.
Fetch
Or I
Rushman.
can make a part 2. I can do whatever I want. Now, as a die-hard PBS fanboy, I think I speak for everyone when I say that what PBS was missing was a crossover episode. How hard would it have been for the Clifford people and the Dragon Tales people?
That's pretty
to
cool.
made an episode where the 3-legged dog finds the dragon scale. He could dig it up out of the sand because dogs like to dig, except this dog wouldn't be that good at digging. And then he would meet up with the wheelchair dragon and they could be best friends. I would have loved that. As much as I'm joking about it, as a kid, I actually really wanted a crossover episode between the shows Clifford and Clifford's Puppy Days.
If I had to choose a show to have a crossover, I'll have something like Cyber Chase and Dragon. I don't know. Cyber Chase is like good on its own. What would you cross over? But Clifford Puppy Days, I do remember Clifford Puppy Days. I enjoyed that very much. It was like a new setting, a new set of friends, a new Clifford. He was so young and full of life, and now the other Clifford is big and, you know, an adult. Still, I like both shows. Wow, this video is bringing back so much nostalgic memories from previous kids. Like, I'm really about to get emotional over this. Oh my gosh.
Is another show that follows Clifford before he was interesting, when he was tiny, so before Emily Elizabeth loved him. So there was a bunch of new characters that all knew Clifford when he was little, and the two shows existed in the same universe, so it wouldn't have been that unbelievable for Clifford to visit his childhood home, and then all the other characters who used to call him Small or Squirt would see him now and be like, wow! What the f*** happened to you?
Right?
See, it's funny because it's a kid's show and you wouldn't expect them to say that. I waited patiently for that crossover episode.
Never came.
But it never came.
Poor James.
But at least I have fan fiction. George, he wagged his tail and smiled.
Oh gosh.
Clifford,
What are we about to
it's
see?
so good to see you.
Oh gosh.
Nuzzled him as a
Oh
greeting.
gosh.
Nice to see you too. It's been over 7 years since I last saw you. Yeah.
Clifford's the girl?
Clifford said happily.
Oh my
George
gosh.
turned his back to the hill. Here I come.
No.
No quotation mark.
No.
He got ready to tackle him.
No.
Punched George off, and they rolled down. Then, when they got to the bottom, George pinned Clifford,
Oh my gosh.
who was panting.
Why are we reading
Looked
this?
at the two of them, who seemed to be having a staring contest. So they decided to go.
And he stayed.
Both laughed, and Clifford got off of him. He sat down and waited for George to stand up. So, what are we gonna do? The red dog said while quickly getting into a playing position. Okay,
Oh!
hello everyone, I'm back.
That was it for that video, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Oh my gosh, Becky, did y'all see what we just read? That fan fiction, I guess there's always going to be fan fiction for anything that can be created. Anything that exists, there is going to be fan fiction for it. I guarantee you'll find something for it. That is so creepy. Who actually sits, illustrates, and writes out Clifford fan fiction like that? Who is that much of a diehard fan to actually go through that process? But man, I enjoyed this video very much. It was such a throwback, such a nostalgic episode. Like, I give this video a 10 out of 10, honestly. But don't forget to hit me with a like, subscribe, and go ahead and comment on this video if you want to reply from yours truly, Prince Charming. My name is Prince Ohakam. Stay charming, my friends.